before that will becomes effective, before the distribution can be done. And who has capacity to write a will in terms of age and what have you? Anybody that is of 18 years of age. As long as you are 18 years of age, you can write a will. You can will your property, you can will your assets to anybody once you attain the age of 18. Now, having attained the age of 18, people will ask, what does an 18-year-old person has? An 18-year-old person could also have an inheritance which somebody has given to him or her, which means he also has an asset that he can dispose. He could also have his own material things that he could also probably will want to give out to people. Now let us look at what are the essential things that we need to see when you are writing a will. Number one, that will must have a title. The will must have a title. The estate of, let me use myself, the estate of Mr. Sheweje, blah blah blah, devolving to, so it must have a title. So when you go to approach a lawyer, the lawyer will give you the steps. Then you have to name the executors of your will. When you have passed on and you have given properties and assets to people, when your will is going to be read, you have to name those that will execute your will. A minimum of 2, as the case will be. We will name them. When the will is opened, they are the people that will say, okay, we have read your father's will, we have seen it, we will now go and verify all these assets. And then they begin to give as has been said in the will of the writer. Where you have minors, that is children who are not yet of 18 years, then you have to name beneficiaries, the guardians. Because if you are giving a property to an adolescent, then you need to name people that will become guardian of that person. Now, there was a recent case that came up in the East recently. The man had 12 trailers and he willed the trailers to his 11 children, including an adolescent child that was, I think, 6 or 7. Along the line, that adolescent child became ill, and his brothers decided that because there was no guardian as somebody that will execute for him, they decided that they were going to sell the trailer to take care of his illness. And what happened? The will of the father for that child to have an inheritance after his death was not fulfilled. So we must make sure that when we are writing a will, we have somebody who will take care of the interest of those minors that you are giving assets to. And those persons must be named in your will. They could be individuals, they could be societies, and they could be charities. Because we have companies who are trustees who manage properties for people who have passed on. And then you must organize your inventory in such a way that, organize your assets in such a way that you are able to distribute equitably. And so when you go to meet a lawyer that you want to write a will, the lawyer will ask you all your assets that you have, all the interest that you want to give your assets to, so that there are no controversies after your death and there are no issues. When you have given your intent, how you want to distribute your estate. We have had instances where lawyers have said, no, you cannot do this, because if you do it like this, it's going to create problem for you, for your children, for the estate that you are leaving behind. Can we do it this way? Can we do it that way? So the lawyer will also guide you to be able to tell you how your assets should be distributed without you having problem in your grave. And then I have to say that the will only takes place after the death of the maker, which means if you acquire new properties, you have become rich either by God blessing you more and more. You write a first will, and because you now have acquired more money, you can approach your lawyer. He will do an amendment to that will, whereby he can also redistribute additional assets that you have had. In law, we call it a codicil. Your lawyer will now have to do a codicil, which is an addendum to your original will, how you want to distribute those other extra assets that you have acquired within time. And this is to ensure that there are no gaps between what you are giving and what you have. And finally, on Wednesday, no, the two of them will just have to be present to execute and witness the will for you. That's a requirement of the law. And the reason is that the two people can always not dispute that they did not witness the will that has been prepared. When you have done the needful, you have shared your estate, it has been witnessed by everybody. What happens next? You have to store your will in a proper place. Some people, we have companies now who will keep your asset for you, either in banks, either in vaults. We have Montgomery vaults. That is essentially the things that they do. When you have written your will, it's been signed, and everybody, you think you have done everything, you go and lodge it in a place where it can be kept, pending when the eventual time comes when you will be called. The reason why you need to store the will is the fact that it has to be kept, because you could write a will when you are 70. God will bless you to give you an old age to 90. And if you keep it in your house or keep it anyhow, somebody would have stolen your will and nobody actually knows what you have written. So that's why storing the will in a proper and safe place is very important for those who are writing a will. In writing wills, what do you give out? What can you give? You can give your property, houses, cars. You can give shares that you have in companies. You can give personal items, wristwatches. We now have people who buy wristwatches of $1 million, Rolex of $1 million. We don't have it. You can give shares that you have in companies. You can give cash that could likely become your balance on the day you die in, say, Union Bank. Your account in Union Bank, your account in GTB. So you can give cash.